In this video, we are going to answer the question, can you become a millionaire?
Can I become a millionaire?
That's you, buddy.
Breaking news, folks, breaking news. Small Business Superhero Podcast has just landed.
And we're back. We're in it. You asked me a very adroit question the other day.
Right.
You said, hey, Dave, you think it can really happen? You think we can really break $1 million?
Well, I know we've been working hard on this YouTube channel stuff right here, and I know, and we're getting views up there, and we're doing our thing, but I was like, can we really do this?
Well, and my answer to you was what?
Well, yeah, of course.
Did I hesitate?
No. I mean, and then I went deeper. I was like, okay, you're just positive. I was like, I understand that we can do this. Can we really accomplish this, though?
Yeah, and I understand that because I do kind of have a positive attitude about most things. I do my very best to stick with the idea that, yes, when you set your mind to something, you can do it. But like you said, a little bit deeper, below the surface, there's always facts backing up my positive opinion on things. Very much like when I talk about the goal setting and writing your goal card, we know that there's biological psychology to back that up.
Right.
It's not pie in the sky. It's not like, oh, write the magic spell on the magic card, and then all of a sudden the magic fairies come and make magic come true. Although that would be nice.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. We talked about that show, The Littles, earlier today, where you go to sleep and the Littles come into your house and just take care of the stuff.
Adventures or something.
Yeah.
I think in the old terms they were called brownies, little gnomes or trolls that would come in and like fix your shoes or finish your job for you that you started.
Yes. Yeah. They finish your job for you. Like you go to sleep and then the job gets done for you. That's not the way that it works. But we do know.
Yeah. My mom always said that there's no such thing because she's like, a maid doesn't live here to clean up after yourself. I never knew what she meant by that, but you know.
Well, but yes, that's true. There's no maid living under the floorboards that's going to come out at night while you're sleeping and clean everything up. But you know, we also we had when we worked where we worked before, we had old DT who would come in. He'd be like, now look here, I ain't never left work on my desk and had it come back and it's done in the morning. It's going to be right there waiting on you when you leave it there.
DT, that's hilarious. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I mean, he made the point that nothing. You can't leave your work on your desk, and it's not going to run away on you. It's going to be right there waiting for you when you come back. So when it came to the question of can you really make $1 million? Well, for me, I wanted to break that down into the facts, and that's a question that I had asked myself before, and so I immediately answered yes, you can, because you can break that down into easily digestible facts.
All right. Lay it on me. What do you mean? You explained it to me out there, but we was recording.
Well, I just threw one out to you the other day. I threw out to you the fact that every day in the United States, 1,700 new millionaires are made.
Yeah, that's right. We looked that up. That's right.
Yeah, every day. So by close of business today, there will be 1,700 new people who are millionaires who were not millionaires yesterday.
And that can be us. That can be you, right?
Yes, it can be us. It could be the viewers. It could be somebody we've never met. It can be any manner of person, any walk of life in the United States has the real world opportunity to become a millionaire. Now, with that, I took some notes because I dug deeper into it. So, according to the 2021 Global Wealth Report, there are 21 million millionaires in the United States, and that number's growing every day.
Yeah.
1,700 per day. And of those 21, actually, it's almost 22 at the time of the survey, which means it's got to be well past 22 million at the time we're recording this.
Yeah.
And at that time, the top 5 occupations for people who became millionaires was engineer, CPA, management, attorney, and teacher. You look troubled.
Okay. No, I'm just thinking teacher.
Yes.
I guess.
So teacher encompasses a whole lot of things. Would you not consider Tony Robbins to be a teacher?
Oh, I see what you're saying now. I thought he was kind of more motivational speaker, but if you cut away the layers, it's a teacher.
He's a teacher.
Right.
He would be classified as a teacher. But another part of it is that people who are teachers, you have high-paid professors in colleges, you have people with tenure. But even if you don't, a person who spends their whole life teaching people how to be structured and organized is likely themselves to be structured and organized. And the act of becoming a millionaire isn't always, I had a brilliant idea and I invented this thing. It's a habit more than it is a brilliant moment or an accomplishment.
Right.
So you've got teachers who make a career out of being focused and organized, and then they say, okay, I'm going to set aside this amount of money forever. And when you
Right.
invest that money, compounding interest leads to someday, eventually, mathematically, it will become $1 million, depending on how much you save, how much you invest, and what your rate of return is. So that's where you get like teachers can become millionaires, when you and I know that teachers, nurses, cops, they're not paid commensurate
no.
to the level of their value to society. But it's there. It's the opportunity is there for you. Now, so I said that very same thing to somebody not too long ago, and they said, well, okay, whatever. What about brain surgeons? Well, this was a study to determine the most common occupations that turn people into millionaires. How many brain surgeons are out there compared to how many CPAs are
I was
out
going
there?
to say, as a comparison pool, there's less brain surgeons than there are CPAs.
Far fewer brain surgeons than you get CPAs, or you get, people who are in management or attorneys.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of one jurisdiction, think of one county for attorneys, and remember how many lawyers would come through, defense attorneys, prosecutors coming through the courtroom, every Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of attorneys out there. As a cross-section of American citizenry, there's going to be a larger segment of them who focus, buckle down, save, and invest to the point to where they can become millionaires. So there's that. Dave Ramsey talks about, at length, about the fact that the average income in the United States today is $45,000 a year. And if you, from the age, I think he said from the age of 21 to the age of 65, if you put $100 a month into a growth stock mutual fund, and that's all you do, then it will be over $1 million when you retire at 65. You look at your brain, look at you first.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking about what age you start at, as soon as you start working.
I can't remember if he said 18 or 21. I think it was 21. From the age of 21 to 65, if you put
$100 away.
$100 a month into a growth stock mutual fund yielding 10 to 12% interest. At the end, you retire with over $1 million. So he says there's no excuse to retire and not be a millionaire in the United States today. He actually encompassed Canada. He said North America. In North America today, there's no excuse to retire and not be a millionaire. Because you can save $100. People are like, oh no, I've got more month than money.
Well, yeah. The thing is, I've been thinking about that lately, and like money, light bill, use a dryer, just use a clothesline. All these subscription services for TV and entertainment.
Yep.
You don't have to have that.
He says that you don't even have to go into things like the instead of using the clothes dryer, use the clothesline.
Right. Small stuff like that.
He says you don't even have to go that deep, because most people impulse purchase $100 a month at the grocery store. Because you go to the grocery store, you've got your list, but you get to the candy aisle and you've got to have a fast break bar and you've got to have a pack of gum. And then, of course, the kids want something. And, well, what about that? I haven't had that brand of chips in a long time. And you impulse purchase. Instead of sticking to your list, you walk through the grocery store and you impulse purchase stuff that you haven't had in a while.
All the time.
Yeah.
I went and got donuts. I had to get some milk for the family. I saw some Krispy Kremes, and I was like, $5. I'll pick that up and take it to the house.
So that's
Didn't need that.
1/20th of the way to $100. Didn't need the donuts.
No.
Same thing. Like I'm a sucker for energy drinks. I'm going with the which is good old fashioned unleaded A&W root beer today.
Unleaded. It's odd for you.
But the but energy drinks are between $2 and $3 per. And so if I buy one of those a day, then I've made it almost to $100 a month. And so if you pull that down, then you've redirected $100 a month, and you can retire as a millionaire. But people aren't listening to the podcast because they're hoping that they can retire at 65 as a millionaire by setting aside $100 a month.
Yeah, that's long game.
That's long game, and sure, the time is going to pass anyway. And if you don't do these things, then you're going to wake up at 65 and not have anything. But let's just say keep that in the back of your mind. There are other ways and other avenues that you can pursue. I broke down mathematically what it takes.
All right,
So
lay it on us.
All right, so you've got $1 million. To make $1 million in a year, there's 2,080 working hours in a year. And so
Is that just average?
Monday to Friday, that's 40 hours a
Oh,
week.
okay, I
So
gotcha.
Monday to Friday, 9 to 5.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. A 40-hour full-time work week, there's 2,080. So that's just about $481 per hour that you have to generate. In order to be able to say, I made $1 million this year, you have to generate $481 an hour. Now,
I was going to say that seems like a lot.
it does. It seems like a lot because people are used to trading their time for money. They're used to
Yeah.
going in, they clock in, and whatever the boss says that they're worth per hour, an hour of your time is worth $7 an hour. An hour of your time is worth $17 an hour. An hour of your time is worth $27 an hour. Even your plumber who charges you $100 an hour still isn't scratching the surface of $481 an hour.
Yeah. So, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So
Go ahead.
trading your hours for your dollars is not going to get you there. We have someone that mentors us who says there's not enough runway in your life to get there by trading those
Yeah.
hours for dollars
Yeah,
that way.
Exactly. If you have a big, long runway, then eventually you'll get there, but it ain't enough runway.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, that you figure out a way that you can do something, either sell a product or some type of service in an automated fashion that allows you to do more than one transaction in an hour. Because if you're selling an hour for an amount of money, you're selling an hour for $20, then you can do one transaction per hour.
Right.
You can sell that 1 hour, one time, and get that $20.
So what are you suggesting?
Well, what if you could say, let's say for the sake of argument, instead of selling an hour of your time for $20, sell a physical product or sell a piece of intellectual property like a book that you wrote,
Right.
or a piece of music, something like that. And let's say you sell one of those for $20. If you sell one of those for $20, then you have to do that 24 times in an hour to net $481.
That doesn't seem so unreasonable.
It doesn't.
That seems like doable.
Because do you think that there are mom and pop stores out there where they sell about 24 items in an hour?
Yeah.
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 That's not far-fetched. So at an average transaction price of $20, they have to do 24 transactions in an hour, consistently 40 hours a week in order to make $1 million. But we don't work in a brick-and-mortar world anymore, do we?
No, we talked about that with some other topics we're going to
Yeah.
bring out. Yeah, we talked about that.
We've talked about it a bunch.
You don't need a
need-
front door. You don't need AC.
No.
You don't need a brick and mortar.
No, your overhead can literally be zero, and you can still operate a business. And we can talk about an international business.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we talked about that book I wrote, that fitness book, that sells like hotcakes in the UK. I can't give them away in the United States, but the UK loves my stuff. Shout out to the UK. I love you guys. But if you're working that way, you're not brick and mortar, you're not Monday to Friday, you're not 9 to 5. If you get your stuff online, if you're selling an online course, if you're selling some type of digital product, if you're selling physical products, whatever it is, if it's automated and it's something that you can do, it happens 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
So yeah, I'm in the bed sleeping.
You remember? Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm making my sales.
I remember the first time that I woke up and I looked at my book sales, and while I was sleeping in the UK, people were buying my book. I remember I was like, wow, that's a paradigm shift. That's a
Right.
mental
Right.
change in identity. You're like, wait a minute, I'm a person who makes money while I sleep now. Remember the first time you sold some T-shirts
Oh yeah.
where you just
I didn't even I woke up one morning and I was like, let me check T-shirt sales. I got an email from him. It's like, oh wow.
Yeah, you sold T-shirts and made money.
Yeah.
While you were sleeping. I remember you launched that one. You launched an entire brand new online shirt store, and within minutes you'd sold like a half a dozen shirts,
Yeah.
and you're like, "What is happening
I didn't
here?"
even I didn't advertise. I just made it.
No marketing, no advertising. It's just
just a rando thing.
Just a random. You hit the right chord at the right time, and somebody bought it. So 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. That equates to $115 an hour in order to make $1 million that year.
That's totally more. It's even more reasonable now.
And at that same $20 transaction, you need 6. You need 6 transactions. Do you think you've got what it takes to sell 6 things an hour?
I would hope so, especially in this world where everybody was within reach. Everybody with the internet and a cell phone or a computer is within reach
Absolutely.
of my product, of my voice, of my idea. Everybody.
So it is within reach to us. We know it. And it's more an exercise in reframing than it is an exercise in work, honestly. You have to work and you have to work hard, but you and I, especially 80s kids, were raised with the whole what do you think I am, Rockefeller, money doesn't grow on trees.
Exactly.
And the number a million was what was like a fantasy dream. Well, you would say that sarcastically.
That's true. $1 million. $1 million is still big money to me.
To me too.
However,
it is a ceiling. It's a glass ceiling that's there that most people never aspire to because, like, I'll never get there.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a dream. Hey, is there anything else I can do for you? Yeah, I could get $1 million. It's a joke. It's a gag. It's like a dismissive thing that people say to one another.
Yeah, it's a working man's kind of burden. Like, oh, that's nice. Oh man, wish I could do that. I'll never make that kind of money.
Meanwhile, who's that kid that played with toys?
Ryan's Toy Review?
Ryan's World.
Ryan's World.
Ryan's
He's
World.
All over he's in Target.
Yeah,
now. His
yeah.
toys are in Target.
Now, you told me something about him that blew my mind.
I think in 2015, 2017, they made $11 million.
What was he, a toddler?
He is a 5 to 8-year-old kid opening toys up.
$11 million. I mean, $11 million.
$11 million. And that's just back then. And now he has a cartoon, I believe, and
he's got his own line of toys. That's why we were at Target, saw his line of toys, and it was like, what is happening here? What is?
Yeah. Well, because YouTube's such a great opportunity, you don't have to have sponsors. You don't have to go, here's my script. I like to have this money to film this, and I got to get the union involved, and I got to have catering for my actors. You ain't got to do that. You just go to town and give a clear message out, and advertisers go, how many views do you get?
Mm-hmm.
Here.
How much engagement do you have? Yeah, let's go. Why don't you? Yeah, play with these toys. We know somebody personally where they're like, we'll give you $10,000 to hold our bottle of wine while you hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're not even altering direction. Now, I did check and see in the online economy what are the top ways to generate $1 million in a year, and social media influencer was number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2. Yeah.
So what was number 1? Drum roll.
I don't remember.
Oh,
I know that's devastating.
So disappointing.
I know that's devastating. I remember looking at number 1 and being like, nah.
That's not us. That's not us. It's probably like sales funnel or something like that, or affiliate marketing.
Sales funnel and affiliate marketing were below social media influencer.
Oh, really?
I can't remember what number 1 was, and I know that was very anticlimactic. But I remember thinking, nah. You know what? If you'll do a little song and dance, I'll Google it real quick.
Oh, okay. Jazz hands. Jazz hands.
But we know that the facts are facts, that you can absolutely utilize and leverage the creator economy to make $1 million. We know people personally who are getting paid hand over fist. I mean, more money than I would have thought you could make in a month.
Yeah, and it's consistency
for one photograph.
And what I believe it is, it's just consistency. You just got to keep it up. And I'm on my 3rd try with the creator content. It's my full-time job now. But I've done it as a hobby, and I gave up. And I did it as a hobby, and I gave up. Because after a certain point, you're like, But what it is, you just keep stacking and keep building and keep building.
So number 1 was freelancing. It was freelancing. So freelance writer, freelance photographer, freelance programmer, freelance web designer, freelance. And I saw that and I was like, nah, that's not for us. We have the creator end of it that we really enjoy doing, that we are gaining a whole lot of traction with. And it actually means something to us to be able to provide that type of value to the people that we provide value to. So,
yeah, totally agree with that.
So it's important to me that people understand that when the first thing that has to happen is a paradigm shift for themselves. They have to shift their concept of what $1 million means, because it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But in the grand scheme of things, when you have Elon Musk cutting a check for $44 billion because he didn't like Twitter one day, in the grand scheme, it's not a huge amount that's unattainable.
And if 1,700 people are doing it daily, then why can't us and our listeners
daily, every day? By the time you're done with your shift at work, 1,700 people will have become a brand new millionaire for the first time ever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's
It's
crazy.
astounding.
That's crazy. And the thing is, you like don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. I've gave up on a couple of great ideas before because I didn't see results instantly. Because I'm used to instant gratification.
That is a shame. That is
Yeah.
a shame because you and I grew up in a time where it was 6 to 8 weeks to arrive.
Yeah.
You know, you send off for something 6 to 8 weeks to arrive, but now we have, I mean, the enjoyment you get from Amazon Prime, and especially when you've got a warehouse in town.
You have a hub down the road, and sometimes I've had a package come the same day.
I've had two come the same day. Yes,
Yeah.
You click on, and I remember saying to the guy, "I just ordered that." He's like, "Man, people say that to me all the time. Here's your package."
Yeah, because the warehouse is right down the street.
It's like I literally just ordered that.
Yeah.
That's like that was a cartoon back in the day. It was like a Rocco's Modern Life or
Something.
something.
Wile E. Coyote would order something.
Wile E.
from Acme.
Coyote would order, say, yeah.
There it is.
He'd drop it in the mailbox, and the mailbox would make a bunch of noise and then shoot out the package.
Yeah.
It's like Star Trek replicators. So, yes, you're right. We're used to instant gratification, but whereas on the one hand, you've got the group that believes it can never happen. It's absolutely fantasy
Right,
to the
right.
idea $1 million is a joke. You'll never have $1 million.
Well, ever since that conversation we had, we said yes, and he was confident. I said, you know what? I got to start changing the way I think because it's all about the way you think.
it starts
how
from
you
the way
make
you
it,
think.
yeah.
Yes.
And so I drove by this giant house that was under construction. And I sent you a video.
Oh, I saw
And
it.
I drove by and I took a video that said, I'm going to buy that house.
Go
and
for it.
That was probably a $2 million house. I said, I'm going to buy that.
Yes, you are.
And so, like, I'm geared up, helping people and making money off of helping people. That's the way to go, right there.
Yep.
Like we give value, and hopefully we'll get some residuals for it or whatever. I don't know the best way to say that.
Well, I mean, the main outcome that you're looking for is the fact that if you can change your thinking, then you can help assist other people to change their thinking.
Yeah.
Because you said it's all about how you think. That's the foundation. It's where it starts. Wallace Wattles wrote the book, The Science of Getting Rich, over 100 years ago. And that book has helped millions of people become millionaires. Period. End of story. And he said that you have to think and work in the certain way, not in a certain way, in the certain way. So you have to alter the way that you're thinking. First of all, take all the obstacles, all the chains off of yourself, where you say, no, I'm a dishwasher. That's what I do. No, I'm a 9-to-5 guy. I mean, we've had friends of ours here in the studio recording on other platforms that we work on who've said, well, no, I've just always thought of myself as a 9-to-5 guy. I go to work and I get my pay from the boss, and that's how I am. Shifting that thought process changes the way that you think into the certain way, and when you change the way you think into the certain way, you're changing the way that you work into the certain way. I'm never going to be supportive of any plan of action that does not include work, because you have to work hard for something.
Oh, yeah.
People were created to leave the cave, kill something, and drag it back. And so somewhere in your plan of attack is going to be work. But you have to be thinking in a certain way first and then work in a certain way. And I'm going to throw it out there. I say next time we go over a few specific methods for changing the way you think and changing the way you work.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it, and I think our audience would love to hear that. Let's talk about it.
I say let's do that next time.
This is the Small Business Superheroes podcast, and this is powered by, I would say sponsored, but it's powered by AMSDynamics.com. Check out AMSDynamics.com. That's where our podcast is. That's where you can contact us with info at AMSDynamics.com. This is the Mad Scientist.
And the Barbarian.
Thank you for listening, and again, like and subscribe. Boom, boom, boom.
Extra, the Small Business Superheroes podcast on all of your favorite podcast platforms like Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and many more. Small Business Superheroes is powered by AMSDynamics.com.